Old school beekeeping. We have been involved in beekeeping in its modern form for a long time. However, we have also dealt with the original form of beekeeping, which has been handed down from Europe. This is still practiced today in some parts of Eastern Europe, more recently in Central Europe. For this purpose, bee colonies are kept in so-called log hives, a solid form of housing that comes closest to the natural housing of our bees in tree hollows. We decided to build two of these log hives ourselves from a solid old tree trunk and set them up on our property. Not to harvest honey from them, but to observe the bees that are supposed to settle in their natural habitat and to use their pollination performance for our fruit trees. It is also part of our homeschooling projects for our children who are always involved in such activities. Enjoy watching our videos. At first, we cut the whole logs in half and then we marked on it where we want to cut it out. So we wanted to leave 10 centimeters on the sides as a wall, and on top and even on the ground we will leave roughly 30 to 40 centimeters of the full log to insulate it perfectly. Here you can see the different tools we are going to use to cut it in the length. The logs will be roughly 1.75 meter in length, and the other tools are there to cut it hollow. So now you will see how we are doing it. Enjoy! So after we cut it out with all the tools, we had a bad surprise in one of the logs. It was rotten in the middle, in the center, and it was full of ants. So we had to clean it out and finally blow it out with high pressure. And we will keep it like this, but we have to fill some gaps with beeswax, as some of the gaps are pretty big. But it's perfect for the bees and even for the book scorpions that will be in the hives, hopefully, because they love the rough structure and the gaps to hide and live there and to eat all the mites that could live in the hive and could harm the bees. Now we cut the entrance of the log hives. We just cut once with a chainsaw blade in the log hive in the lower part, and it's bigger on the outer side than on the inner side. and it goes slightly up that no water can come in, and it's just big enough that the bees can come in and out, but that no other insects and even other animals like mice can come in and eat the bees or the honey. Now we build in 2 pieces of bamboo sticks in the hive in the upper part, and another pair of sticks will be placed in the middle of the log to work as a stabilizer for the honeycombs, and we sealed all the surfaces of the log with beeswax to protect the wood against moisture.
Und hier unten kommt die zweite Lage, wo sie auch
The roof of the hive is made out of a piece of plywood. It's just 3 feet by 3 feet. We oiled it with linseed oil, and after this we put a layer of roof paper on top, and at the end there will be metal sheet on it as well to protect the hive against rain. Finally, we were able to put the hive in place close to the house in the woods. And like you can see, we tightened the both halves of the hive with ratchet straps together. It's really tight, it's strong, and we are always able, if we need to take it apart. We also secured the hive with straps to prevent it from tipping over in wind, because it's pretty high, it's nearly 2 meter high, and therefore needs some support.
Bis auf den Baumstamm.
So we did the same with the second hive, but in this hive we cut out a piece of the wood to insert a glass window to be able to view the bees if we want to see how they build their combs, how they are doing, if they are doing fine, and just for the kids, even for the homeschooling, because it's really interesting to see how the bees live in there and how they build their honeycombs. That's what you can see really good when you just observe the hive through the glass window without disturbing them in any kind. And now we are going to prepare the place for the second hive on the other side of our property. The second hive is in place. We put it there with a backhoe. We secured it as well with some steel clothesline, as these are way better than the ratchet straps. because when the wind blew a little bit stronger, they started to vibrate in the wind, and it was really loud and annoying for the bees that would live there. And even the whole hive started to vibrate inside. That's why we changed them on the other log hive as well. And this is a hive with the observing window, so we just put the piece of tarp in front of it to prevent it against water in the gaps from the piece we cut out. We just put in the gaps some hemp wool to have it really tight, even in winter when the temperatures are really low, that the bees are fine with the cold temperatures.
Wo wir Heringe reinhängen, die wir hier drüber in die Mitte verstreben. Und hier kommt noch mal
If you like this video, or maybe you have a question about the log hives, leave us a comment under the video. And if you don't want to miss any new video from us, then just follow our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.
so etwa 40% von unten